Bienvenidos. Soy la Bruja Espinada, and I am here with a very special new moon reading. So let's get started. I have been guiltily not paying attention to the lunar cycle in which everything is placed at the moment, so bear with me. Life has been super busy. And we start this reading off with the Two of Wands. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Magician, the Moon, ooh, Temperance. We have the Hanged Man, the Six of Cups, the Fool, the Five of Swords. We have the Sun, the Five of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. We will go ahead and stop there. I may pull another card out. We'll see how the reading goes. So, starting off with the Two of Wands. We're not a stranger to this card. We've had this card in the past in several readings. The Two of Wands is that moment of deciding, of making a decision in regards to the things that you feel you're passionate about, that you are trying to dedicate more time to. It's a balancing act in which you know that there are things that you want to do versus there are things that you need to do. And at this time, as we are in a new lunar cycle, the new, and we're just entering, I don't know where I pretended to know what season we're entering right now. We're coming out of Pisces season, and I believe we're entering into Aries season. So one of the things that you want to be cautious about is how you proceed in the decisions that you make. There's not necessarily that need to, like, you have to do one over the other. You have to pick. It's understanding the balance is about how to divide your time wisely, right? And so are you dedicating too much time to one thing over the other? Are you trying to secure your bag too much over prioritizing some self-care, some love with rest? Are you too much work and not enough play to dedicate some time to yourself and you're burning out? Or are you too much play and not enough work and you are left with not closing up or paying off any debt that you may owe? You know, it's that understanding that while having that aspect of play when it comes to working so hard, not to overdo it, and finding that balancing act so that you don't have the burden of needing to owe people from when you weren't able to pay them back in the past. There's several messages in there for several different people, but and this is reinforced, this decision, this narrative is reinforced by the Page of Pentacles, that understanding of learning how to better navigate your resources. And that's one of the things that you have to take into consideration, is that we are never the most learned when it comes to our resources. And I also mean that as in financially. We're not always financially secure, and there's some people that are more financially secure than others, and that could be another aspect to this balancing act of, like, not being too frugal, but finding that balance of, like, okay, what if I partake in this fun thing? Is it also an investment? Is it really going to be an investment to me, or am I really losing out in the end? is being wise, is understanding that wisdom, and wisdom, I believe, will be the key word for today. This is followed by the magician. One of the biggest things that is not understood in regards to monies is that hoarding it is not the way to go. One of the things that you have to take into consideration is investment. Are you um, paying for school out of pocket? That's a return investment on your end. Are you um, giving monies to a business or small shopping business, something small in your community, and are you publicizing it to get them views, consumers, and in turn you have your own business that they're willing to um, promote and publicize? The magician is that reminder of your ability to transform, especially right now, in that it is the new lunar cycle. We're in the phase of the new moon, and you can set intentions to what it is that you want to achieve, what it is that you want to accomplish, what you want to help others accomplish. There's a lot of partnership in regards to what our reading is going to come upon, and you're going to see that soon. We also have the moon. How fitting that we have the new lunar cycle and then we have it met with the moon. The moon is that moment to go inside, really think about your inner feelings, process things that you've been putting off processing. It needs to get done. You can't put that off. This isn't the laundry that sits in the laundry basket forever. You need to process this inner work. You need to start. It is time. And that is a serious message for several of you out there. And it is not an easy task because we are also met with temperance. Temperance is that reminder, that gentle, gentle reminder that it's going to take some patience. And I understand because I've been there and I feel it also. Sometimes patience takes a lot of work. And sometimes you may feel like, I don't have time nor the patience. And guess what? Temperance is here to remind you, make the time. Learn patience. If, if I was impersonating Temperance, as Temperance is not shown here with the face, that'd be the face that Temperance would be making at you. And this is also reinforced by the concept of the hanged man. You need to take a step back and look at things from a different perspective. You could be thinking, why do I gotta relearn some financial stuff? Well, you tell me. You tell me why this card is coming out again. This is a reading that you came to for guidance and assistance. I'm only providing it, right? So why is it that this card is coming out? Are you sitting down, going within and actually, having to relearn intuition and the ability, understanding that ability that you have the skill to be able to transmute and transform everything around you, the energies around you, the resources around you? Why is the Page of Pentacles having to come again? Why is the Two of Wands having to come back again? What is it that you're lacking? I do have a spiritual counselor. It's been a minute since I've seen her, but one of the things that she told me was, and it stuck with me, and I share that with everybody, these drops of wisdom, is that the balancing act in your life is never over. It is a constant work, a constant practice that we have to harness because you can never be perfectly balanced. You might, in the world of our life, there might be more put onto emotional work versus monetary work. There might be some spiritual work that is lacking versus like physical work. You're spending too much time focusing on your physical and on securing your bag, and you haven't spent enough time with your spiritual, your emotional. There's so many ways that the balancing can go. It's not just one, it's not just two scales. There are several different scales within that balance to try to make it even. And the hanged man is taking that step back and looking at the bigger perspective. Where am I lacking? Why is it that I am off balance? Why is it that I have not had time to, really sit down and meditate what it is that I want, I need to sit down and find a time to meditate on what it is that I want to accomplish, or spend time with my inner child, understand what it is that I truly want to do and how I want to better utilize my time. But you got to make that time and be patient enough to work through it, because it doesn't happen within a second. It doesn't happen within 5 minutes. And if it does, that's great. You've been meditating on it for a long time. But that reminder that you got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture is there. Got to flip it on its head, look at it from a different perspective. It could also be, now that I see this card that follows it, is that you're spending too much time thinking about the past. Coulda, woulda, shouldas. What happened? Why did it happen? Did you get the closure that you needed? And the majority of the time, whenever we look at things of the past, it's because we never got the closure that we needed. But the Six of Cups is that reminder that while it is okay to revisit the coulda, woulda, shouldas, to utilize them in regards to how we continue moving forward in the new lessons that we've learned, the things that we know that we should have, or that we shouldn't have done, or either should have done better. Do not stay wallowing in the past, whether it was good memories or bad memories. The past is in the past. They happen. Great to look upon, not great to live in the past. We are constantly ever moving forward. That being said, we have, I believe, what is the Fool card? I placed them and I think I moved it over too far to how I set up my cards. The Fool card is a new beginning, is a new way of thinking. Is it, again, we're in a new lunar cycle. You want to be able to see that as you move forward in this feeling of newness, of a new cycle beginning, do not pretend that you're brand new and aren't looking where you're going. Don't just start walking aimlessly. As you see here, there is a little doggo trying to navigate this individual away from a cliff, trying to sound the alarm like, hey, you're just walking aimlessly and blindly and not really looking around. So if we have that in regards to the Hanged Man, and then we have it with the Fool, it is that reminder to don't just say like, fuck it, and start walking. Life isn't always a fuck it moment. Now we have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is a reminder not to start needless fights. And I say needless because, hey, you might be in a bad mood and you may say something and just be like, you know what, I don't want to take the time to be mindful in the things that I say, and just say, again, a fucking moment, and let something slip that causes a bigger deal that didn't need to happen in the first place. Just be mindful. We're also followed by the Sun card, happiness. Now, I wish I could say like, yay, if you do that, things are going to be great. No, not necessarily, and I'll show you why. Because while we all aim to be happy, and perhaps you are a recovering people pleaser, and that's why we have the Sun here in between the Five of Swords and the Five of Cups, because you're so you've been so wrapped up in the concept of pleasing others that you have not taken time to really focus and work on what it is that you need versus only catering to what other people need. Now we have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is that idea of like, look at all these things I did wrong, and yet you're forgetting all the things that you did right. So considering that this is coming after the Six of Cups, where it's like, hey, that reminder that things, every day's a new day to restart, can't keep living in the past. That Five of Swords is kind of the idea of what's done is done. You're striving to be happy, and yet you're busy focusing on spilt wine versus being appreciative of what it is that you still have left that's not worthless. But you can try to cry over spilled wine, but you're never going to be happy. you will never ascertain or reach that 10 of cups that you're wanting to have, that happy, that those feelings of happiness, those that emotional, ultimate emotional fulfillment, right? So now we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is an indicator of celebration, coming together, um, being able to share your joy with others in celebration. Now, it's possible, it's doable. Just understand that, look at the bigger picture, have the patience to understand that, yeah, it sucks that things didn't go the way that you wanted them to. And you have to start anew. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way that you look at the bigger picture, you flip it on its head, you get to choose, do I want to maintain the emotional burden of it, or do I want to ascertain the emotional fulfillment from it? Ooh, words of gold. So I'm not going to continue because at this point I'm seeing the cards and they're just reiterating themselves. They're just, repeating what I just said. So let's go ahead and move forward with the Mighty Fates. Mighty Fates, what additional lessons do you have for our watchers at this time? So yes, perfect intention practice that you can do today on this new moon is to simply take a card or simply take a piece of white paper and write down what it is that you want to accomplish in the method of that you've already achieved it. I am financially secure. I am spiritually healthy. I am emotionally fulfilled. The I ams, right? So the Mighty Fates have graced us with the Magi, kind of going with the Magician, that ability to, or that understanding of the ability that you have, that capability of being able to transmute and transform what it is within you that you want to accomplish. So let us find the Magi. The Magi. The Magi says, this indicates a period where you need to look deeper. It asks you to examine what you think you know and then keep going. Throughout our lives, we build an infrastructure of beliefs that allow us to navigate life. But so often, the system is built on top of a shaky foundation or out of weak materials. In other words, it is time to question that which you have never noticed. What beliefs inform your decisions, passions, and ambitions? The Magi is a seer of illusion, and in turn, they are able to cut through the fog and get to work. The Magi may see the world similar to a mirrored funhouse. They see the core of each experience and are able to acknowledge how many different realities exist in a single moment. Being able to see these many realities is a gift. It teaches us to be less attached to a single road, but instead see where all the roads meet. If we are courageous enough to see and be open to our life unfolding along the various roads, we invite in a magic that few get to experience. Even a balanced Magi can frustrate people. They have some trickster energy in that which they can see the bigger picture and may know the answer, but they will present the information to you in a way that might spin you on your head. They are gifted with words, and everything they say can have multiple meanings. When the Magi is unbalanced, they can be very manipulative and self-seeking. They may talk down to others as they believe themselves to be greater and more knowledgeable, rather than present information meant to challenge others in a expectation that it will ultimately be empowering. The unbalanced magi will present information in a way that is meant to make the other person feel small. In fact, they may enjoy the fact that others don't understand. So that is an aspect of the hanged man and the fool, right? Is that when you navigate working with others and you're in a state of trying to be well balanced, one of the things that you want to take into consideration is the way that you communicate. Now, again, remember the idea of burning bridges. This is a sword card. Sword has a lot to do with communication, and right now that we're currently still in Mercury retrograde, communication is still there's still that ability for it to be misconstrued, misunderstood, miscommunicated, right? So just be cautious of that. Think about looking at the bigger picture, having a balance, and going within to be able to live your best life and serve yourself and serve others as best as you can. Let us finish out with the animal spirit guides. What message? Ooh, there are a lot today. We have Beaver Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. All right. And it lands right on that page. So we have the Beaver Spirit. Lay a solid foundation. Beaver Spirit is here to tell you about a power living within you that is born of spirit, the source from which all life arises. This is the power to establish a sacred connection with the universe, with the universal consciousness, so that you can deliberately co-create the world that you desire. Know that it takes work, determination, and sustained effort to co-create and lay a solid foundation for your dreams, for your partner. You bring the twigs and branches of your intentions and desires and spread them across the river of time. You'll be amazed at what you can do. You will find that you can even change the direction of the flow of life. You can ensure that your world will be prosperous and purposeful, filled with love and joy, and rich with magic and meaning. That which you desire will come to you and remain sustainably if you build on a sturdy foundation. Keep your intention and energy consistent and deliberate, using all of your resources and the energy of this wonderful, productive time. Have faith, for with Spirit to co-create with you, your success is assured. Spirit is your partner, helping you along as you change the course of your life in the way your heart desires. Beaver Spirit has come to warn you to check for rotten wood in the foundation of your dreams. Perhaps you built your hopes on faulty promises or wishful thinking that something would work out just because you wanted it to. Maybe you made decisions from a place of unworthiness, hoping that once you got what you desired, it would somehow change and make everything better. And you had to face the truth that it didn't. Or Beaver Spirit may be telling you it is time to accept things as they are and perhaps consider abandoning the project, relationship, situation, so that you can make room for something better. Perhaps you need to go back and rebuild a solid foundation because what you desire may not be in alignment with what your soul intends. Beaver Spirit says you can always get busy and build something fresh and new if the desire is true. All manner of miracles can spring up from a new, strong foundation when you remember your partnership with Spirit. Be clear about what you're building and why, choosing from a place of worthiness, well-being, and wholeness. Self-understanding and acceptance will provide you with a solid blueprint where to begin. Get busy now. Spirit says this is not a time to procrastinate, but a time to start building again. Always mindful of the foundation you're laying, trusting that Spirit is co-creating with you. Now, that no truer words could be spoken on the day of a new moon. So go forth, set those intentions, and be sure that you are making sure that they're coming from a place of worthiness. I hope this message helps, and I'll see you guys next time.